Have you ever wondered, can a hard day's work and family secrets light up hope? Join Diep and James to discover episode 19. That peaceful morning, soft sunlight gently filtered through the window frame. The clock struck 6 a.m. and Diep woke up, quickly gathering her tools before leaving the house. Today she had been hired to plow and cultivate a rice field for 200,000 VND per plot. With her small but strong hands, she secured the harness tightly around the water buffalo's neck, gently patting it as if it were a trusted companion. The water buffalo walked quietly, pulling the plow that sliced through the soft layers of soil. Diep gripped the plow firmly, using all her strength to drive it into the earth. Sweat drenched her forehead, and her face was smeared with mud, yet her eyes remained resolute, filled with determination. The steady steps of the buffalo combined with Diep's diligent labor created a rhythmic sound, like the melody of hard work. After finishing the first plot, Diep released the harness and sat by the field to rest. She pulled a water bottle from her bag and sipped slowly. Glancing around the vast field, Diep smiled softly. These grueling days of labor did not discourage her. On the contrary, they only strengthened her resolve to earn a living. After a short break, Diep stood up and smoothed her disheveled hair. She patted the buffalo's neck as if to thank it for enduring the arduous work with her. Though she planned to rest a little longer, the thought of earning more money spurred her to grab the harness again and continue working. The remaining plots of land awaited her plowing. Each furrow was neatly and evenly turned over. Dai murmured to herself that if she could finish 3 plots today, she'd earn 600,000 VND. This sum would help her cover many of life's expenses. By midday, when the sun climbed high, Diep sat down again to take a break. She felt each gentle breeze as if it were a reward after a long bout of labor. Diep took out some dry bread and ate with delight. Her eyes sparkled with a small joy as she thought about earning money through her own hard work. Though exhausted, Diep's determination never waned. She knew that as long as she persevered, every difficulty would eventually pass, and tomorrow this field would bloom with golden, ripe rice. A sign of a bountiful harvest, and just as her persistence would eventually reap success. Looking out over the field, Diep imagined a day when it would be filled with golden rice, prosperity and abundance. The hard work she put in today would be the foundation for a more stable life in the future. She smiled, then returned to plowing, undeterred by fatigue, because she believed that happiness would come from every drop of sweat shed on this land. That morning, Ly Tu Diep woke up with gentle joy in her heart. She took out the money she had saved, counted it, and went to a clock store to find a beautiful watch to buy for James. With the watch in her hand, she paid the vendor and then went to the drink shop where she had arranged to meet James. James smiled and asked, "Why do you look so happy today?" Diep blushed and softly placed the watch into his hand. I want to give you this. I know it's not worth much, but I want to thank you." James looked at the watch, his expression a mixture of surprise and emotion. He gently put the watch on his wrist and whispered, "Thank you. I'll wear it on special occasions." Diep smiled happily as she saw how much James treasured the little gift. James gently tousled her hair and said, "Now that you've given me a watch, let me give you something in return." He led Diep into a car and drove her to a large phone store in town. Upon entering the store, Diep felt a bit embarrassed. James chose a smartphone and said to the employee, "Let's get this one." Diep hurriedly grabbed James's hand and said softly, "No, you don't need to. The phone is expensive. I'm not used to using it." James looked at her with a serious gaze. "You need it for studying and staying in touch. Don't worry about the cost. I want you to have the best." The employee handed the phone to Diep, who held it hesitantly. James patiently guided her through how to turn it on, make calls, take photos and save contacts. Diep listened carefully, following James's instructions step by step. Her eyes lit up when she saw her name appear on the screen that James had just saved. After the purchase, the two sat down at a roadside drink shop. Di was still clumsy with her new phone, her awkward hands causing it to slip off the table. James chuckled softly, picked up the phone and said, "Don't worry, I'll teach you. In time you'll get the hang of it." Diep was touched by James's thoughtfulness. She never expected him to be so caring. She softly said, "Thank you, James. I'll do my best to learn how to use this phone." James gently patted her head, his eyes tender. "You don't have to thank me. As long as you're happy, that's enough. Looking at James' warm smile, Diep suddenly felt an unusual sense of peace. Even though many challenges still lay ahead, as long as he was by her side, she knew she would overcome them all. That morning, as dew still clung to the leaves, James drove to the wood workshop to meet his younger brother. Entering the office, he found his brother intently reviewing a financial report. "What's going on? You look so tense," James asked. His brother looked up, worry evident in his eyes. "Big trouble, man. A lot of shareholders are pulling their money out of the company, and the one behind it all is John." James froze, trying to keep his composure. "John? Are you sure?" His brother nodded. "Absolutely. Everything happened simultaneously, as if it was all planned in advance. I checked carefully. Most of the investors have connections with John." James furrowed his brow, a sense of suspicion rising inside him. "John? Could it be that he's targeting our family? This can't be a coincidence." His brother continued, "I think so too. I even caught wind from a partner that John has held a deep grudge against our family for years, stemming from a past business dispute." He nodded in agreement. "I understand. But James, John isn't a simple guy. If he's already moved, it won't stop at just pulling funds. We need to be cautious." James fell silent for a moment, his eyes burning with determination. "All right, we'll bide our time. Let him lower his guard, then strike back. For now, we'll rely on a partner who hasn't withdrawn their investment to gather more information." After their discussion, James returned to Diep's home with a heavy heart. He carried the new phone he had recently purchased to give to her. As Diep opened the gate and saw James, she smiled warmly. "You're back? I thought you were busy all day." James smiled gently. "I was busy, but I still wanted to come see you." He handed the phone to Diep and showed her how to make calls, take pictures, and save contacts. Diep fumbled with the device, her clumsy hands causing James to chuckle. He took her hand and helped her take her first photo. "Look, here's a picture of us. See how sharp the camera is?" Diep gazed at the photo, her cheeks flushed. "It's beautiful, but I'm still not used to this." James smiled kindly. "It's okay. I'll teach you step by step. You can call me anytime." As James was about to leave, Diep suddenly stepped forward and placed a gentle kiss on his cheek. For a moment, James was taken aback, before he returned a tender smile. "Thank you," he said. Diep turned away shyly, yet inside she was filled with joy. James looked at her with eyes full of affection. "I'll always be here, no matter what happens." After James left, Min unexpectedly arrived at Diep's house, cheerfully coming to greet her. Min smiled gently. "I was passing by today and suddenly remembered my promise to you, so I stopped by." Diep smiled in reply. "Come on in and have a drink." Min nodded and followed her into the small house under the shade of a tree. Min sat down, adjusted his guitar and spoke softly. "I've composed a new song based on the story you told me last time. The song is called Kogai non Ton." Diep was surprised. "You composed a song? Then please sing it for me." Min nodded and began to gently strum a few notes. The melody filled the air, and the lyrics told the story of a rural orphaned girl who had struggled from a young age, facing many hardships yet always rising with strength. Though life is harsh, the girl never gives in. She works hard, nurturing hope for a brighter tomorrow. Min's deep, expressive voice conveyed so much emotion that Diep couldn't help but be moved. She listened silently, each word touching her heart. When the song ended, Diep looked up, her eyes glistening. "You sing so beautifully. It's like you wrote the song about my life." Min smiled softly. "I see your strength and resilience, and that inspired me. I hope it will give you even more strength." After a while of heartfelt conversation, Diep asked, "Don't you ever think about running a business or settling into a stable job? Wandering and singing must be really tough." Min smiled, his eyes reflective. "My family is wealthy, and we even have a big company. But I choose to live freely and do what I love. Singing is my passion. I don't want to be confined by expectation." Diep fell silent. "But doesn't your mother feel sad?" If my own mother were still alive, she'd probably want me to have a stable life. Minsa sighed quietly. My mother is seriously ill, and she wants me to take over the company, but I'm not ready. I don't want to live a life arranged by someone else. As the afternoon faded into evening, Min stood up to say goodbye to Diep. Thank you for listening. I hope that next time we meet, I'll have even more new songs for you. Diep saw him off at the gate, her heart heavy with thoughts stirred by his heartfelt words. That night, after finishing her work, Diep picked up her phone and called James. His voice on the other end sounded a bit tired. I'm listening. Diep spoke softly. Have you had dinner yet? I made a few simple dishes. Would you come over to eat? James sighed. I have some matters to handle at the company today, so I'll probably be back late. Diep worried. Please take care of yourself. Don't overwork. James replied gently. I know. You get some rest early, okay? That afternoon, James drove to a cafe on the main street to meet Tung, the only shareholder who hadn't withdrawn his funds during the recent crisis. When James walked in, Tung was already sitting in a corner, his eyes showing a bit of worry yet remaining calm. James sat down across from him and got straight to the point. Tung, I need to know why you didn't pull out your investment like the others. Did John approach you? Tung nodded and sighed. Yes, John contacted me. James furrowed his brow, feeling that things were getting even more complicated. So why did you refuse? Tung looked James straight in the eye, his voice firm. I've been doing business with you for years. I know you're honest and always put the company's interests first. I don't trust John, especially when he keeps dodging questions about his new project. James nodded slowly, feeling a bit reassured. Have you heard anything about why John is targeting my company? Tung paused and replied in a low tone. John hinted that you have to pay for what your father did to his family. I don't know the details, but it seems he harbors a deep grudge. James looked at Tung and suggested, I need your help. Pretend to agree to pull out your funds as John wants, then set up a meeting with him so we can expose him. If he trusts you, we might be able to gather more information. Tung thought for a moment before nodding. All right, but we must be cautious. John isn't to be taken lightly. If he finds out we're investigating him, things could get even more dangerous. Suddenly the cafe door swung open and a man walked in. James looked up, startled to recognize that it was Duke, the wood partner from Tien Son province. Duke approached with a sly smile. James, long time no see. James sensed something was off and tried to remain calm. Mr. Duke, what are you doing here? Duke met James's gaze steadily, his voice challenging. Or should I be called John? Don't you recognize me? I am John, the one your family will have to pay for. James froze, his heart tightening. Duke, you're John, what is this all about? With a cold smirk, John said, I don't need to hide anymore. Your family once oppressed mine, pushed us to the edge. Now I'm back to reclaim everything. John left the cafe, leaving James in shock. Clenching his fists, James looked up with determined eyes. No matter who you are, I will not let you harm my company or my family.
Ngang qua, ánh mắt thoáng nhìn xuống hàng lá của cô. Diệp vội lên tiếng, giọng nói nhỏ nhẹ nhưng đầy hy vọng. Diệp vội lên tiếng, giọng nhỏ nhẹ nhưng đầy hy vọng. Chị ơi, chị mua lá rong không ạ? Người phụ nữ lắc đầu bước đi mà không ngoảnh lại, để lại Diệp với chút thất vọng thoáng qua. Cô tự nhủ rằng không sao, rằng chỉ cần kiên nhẫn rồi sẽ có người mua. Một lúc sau, có một người đàn ông lớn tuổi dừng lại, nhìn những bó lá xanh mướt. Ông hỏi, nhà bà có mua lá dong không? Diệp gật đầu đáp, dạ cháu bán 10.000 một bó. Ông lắc đầu bảo rằng nhà đã có sẵn rồi, chỉ tay về phía con đường phía trước. Cháu đi thêm vài nhà nữa thử xem, ở đó có người cần. Diệp gật đầu cảm ơn, lòng nhẹ nhõm vì ít nhất ông đã không phớt lời cô. Cô tiếp